Hey, this is the antisocial socialite back at it again. Shout out to all the wonderful new subscribers and returning friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new to the channel, you have not yet subscribed. What are you waiting for, darling? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. So when I get to running this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. I actually know what the title is because I just put it up there. Hypergamy, separating the men from the boys. I was perusing, actually, not these YouTube streets, it was actually Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, I'm on Instagram and on Discord, same name, the Antisocial Socialite. Please check it out. All the links are down below and I think in the description of the channel as well. Shout out to Dimitri in the building. This is not going to be a long one because I don't have much to say, but this is something that has been not a long time coming. I have done a video on hypergamy before, but I don't want this person's music in the background to get me a copyright. But I'm not really going to get a copyright strike because I'm not monetized. Oh. This is what happens when you make YouTube videos as you walk down the street. So I should just get off the main road. I hope everyone's had a good week and a good time since we last chatted. It's been a little while, and I know I've made a semi comeback. So yeah, so I'm not going to be regular, but I'm going to try and touch on a few things. So this presentation was brought to you today by Pearl yet again, but this time I'm not really talking about Pearl. And I saw on Twitter that she was talking about taking women's rights away again is something that is going to bring back marriages. And I know this is something that Pearl likes to say a lot. Shout out to George in the building. He said the power went out due to the storm. We had a crazy time. That's crazy. I hope everybody in your family is safe because storms, fires, and things like that, I know it's super serious. Dimitri says, by the way, Auntie, I'm in environmental soil science class, and this year. So as soon as I master the first module, content will be on the way. So everybody keep your eyes peeled for new Dimitri content. If you're not subscribed to his channel, Dimitri Higashikata, a Gen Z perspective, I believe is the full title of the channel, but you can just click on it, you'll find it. Gaming, current topics, a lot of the things that a lot of the younger generation likes to talk about. I'm an old fogey, so maybe maybe I'm not the channel for you, but his channel will definitely sort you out. So you can drop the link. I think you've got a wrench, so if you want to drop the link for your channel, please do. If anybody here's got channels, please make sure you drop your links. So Pearl always talks about taking women's rights away, right? And as I said in the last live stream, this is not something that Black people told Pearl, because Black men, with all due respect, they don't even have the mentality to think about taking women's rights away, because the Black community has been so feminized and so centered around women that it doesn't even, the idea of the Black woman not being strong and the Black woman not being the backbone and the Black woman having to do everything and uphold everybody and, you know, carry everybody on her back. There's one lady nodding. This is something that's so ingrained in the Black community that even when it's detrimental to our health, even when it's causing us to become ill, it's actually something that Black women really pride themselves upon. It's like if you turn around and even as a Black woman try and say, I'm not strong, people are like, what do you mean? You must be. Like, are you not Xena? Are you not some type of Wakandan or female warrior? You know, it's like, I mean, I was I still am ill. And I went to the doctors. Well, I had a follow-up appointment, and the nurse actually said to me, oh, one of the reasons why your blood tests look so bad but you're still going is because you're black. Like, I was so wrecked, and I was so taken aback by the statement. And I don't want to just assume it was a racist statement, like, you black women are so strong. But I don't know if it's like it's a genetic thing. I should have just asked her, because now it's grating on me. But it's like, I should have just asked her, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that genetically we're more able to cope with certain issues when they present themselves? Or are you saying, like, because black people are so used to just uh, grinning and bearing it, that even when our circumstances are quite challenging, we're more prone to just getting on with it? Like, what exactly do you mean by that? Because, that's like almost not a racist statement, but it's like, what do you mean by, oh, your tests look like, but because you're black, you can do it? It's like, I just, the thing is that she said something else to me that I didn't like. And because I didn't want to be rude to her, I'd already decided to be silent. So when she kept going and she made that statement, I was already in the zone, like, just don't say anything, just don't say anything, just don't say anything. But I was like, what do you mean by this? You see? And so black men are not accustomed to putting their foot down and to checking the women in their community, because from childhood, black men are constantly being put in their place by women. So it doesn't even occur to them to say, take women's rights away, because the woman in the black community is so highly on a pedestal that it's like, well, what would we do if there were no women? Even though we know a lot of the dysfunction comes from the fact that women are in charge. It's not because, you know, men don't want to lead. It's it's partly because men don't want to lead, but it's partly because the men are not raised to be leaders, and the men are not in a position where they feel supported to be leaders. And I don't know where this rant is going, but when I think about some of the men that I know, especially some of the black men that I know, just aimless, and it's like a lot of black women are not really doing that great. It's just the amount of safety nets that are there for them is so many. Sorry for the background noise. The amount of safety nets that are there are so many. Even when black women make a multitude of mistakes, they're still kind of able to at least appear like they're landing on their feet. You see? So I know Pearl got this rhetoric about taking women's rights away and taking women's votes away from white men, because, as I said, when I first started in this space, I was listening to a lot of white content, and one of the people who was like heavily pushing this idea, because even a lot of white men were not saying that they wanted to take women's rights away, was a content creator known as Turd Flinging Monkey. And a lot of people know that TFM, he not only talked about taking women's rights away, but he was also a person who used to advocate using dolls. And I don't want to say that TFM is a loser, all right? Or that I don't understand why a man would choose to have a relationship with something like a doll instead of a human being. But what I will say is, just like a person who is saying take women's rights away, a person who is going to be engaging with, you know, a lump of latex is, in my opinion, somebody who is struggling to dominate in their relationships. At the end of the day, relationships are risky. Relationships require a little bit of well, not a little bit. They require putting yourself out there. They require you to be vulnerable, and there's a chance that your emotion is not going to be reciprocated. And so, for a person like TFM, who is going to um, be in a relationship with an inanimate object, because no matter how much he projects feelings onto the doll and gives it quote unquote life, I mean, unless he orchestrates the doll cheating, the doll cannot leave, the doll cannot scream. If he abuses the doll, she's not going to talk back or call the police, you know. So there's 100% guarantee of faithfulness and cooperation when you deal with something that doesn't have the ability to leave. A bit like a dog, even though a dog can run away, or a child that maybe could run away, or social services could take the child away. But a doll is more, well, I don't want to use the word vulnerable because an inanimate object can't be vulnerable. But seeing as it looks like a person, the doll hasn't got the ability to do the things that a human being can do. And so the men who cry take women's rights away, and shout out to Hood Conservative, who is in the bill, said black men definitely aren't ready to take women's rights away. Low key, too many black men benefit from women's rights. And this is something that's 100% true, because at the end of the day, black women have cultured men to be weak. At the end of the day, black women, going back to that part of the conversation, black women don't really want to be under the leadership of a black man or any man. They want to be independent but reap the benefits of a man. So these two things are not able to coexist. They cannot exist together, because like the doll, a man is not going to stay there and just be used up and then tossed to the side. Because if a man chooses a woman, he understands that the woman is his inferior, but he loves her anyway. That's just the reality. I know the women not really gonna like that, but that's the truth. Because I know women play stupid, but they understand men can survive without women. They might, I mean, the top chefs in the world are men. I mean, the inventors of many of the things that have made life easy for women were created by men. So if men can make a Hoover, then men can use a Hoover. If men can make a washing machine, they can also use a washing machine. And what we've seen, obviously, in modern times is more and more men are quite happy to live alone, doing them, you know, doing their own laundry, doing their own cooking and cleaning. And if nowadays, if you don't want to do those things, there's a service. You can just get an app. People come to your house, bring the food. They come to the house and collect your laundry. I can't believe it. People are going around on rickshaws picking up your dirty drawers to take it to wash it and bring it back. I can't believe it. Is that how far we've gone, that even people in an age where we have washing machines in our own homes, we can't just wash our own clothes? But if you can't, there's an app for that now. So men understand that women, in some respects, are inferior when it comes to survival. Okay, maybe everyday things, it's great to have women around, but apart from the stuff that, you know, makes life a little bit easier, sometimes having women around is not actually that significant. We just got to be real. So black women have created a situation for themselves where they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They want to be venerated. They want to be seen as the backbone. They want to be seen as the Wakandan warriors that keep society going. But then at the same time, they complain that they can't rest in their femininity and be taken care of. Well, how can you be taken care of if you want to be a boss bee? How can you be taken care of if you want to always be busy and active and working and slaying and killing it? And it's like, you obviously don't really know what you want, or you don't understand that you want two things that are mutually exclusive. So can you work and kill it in the workplace? Yes. Just leave it at work. When you come home, be the woman, don't be the man. That's the problem that a lot of black women have. They want to be the boss at work and then the boss at home. Then they complain that they can't be feminine and soft and gentle, and they've got a passive man, which is what's going to happen if you're a domineering person. A strong person is typically going to attract a weak person, and a weaker person is going to attract a strong person. So if you're going to be the strong person at home, then you're going to have a weak passive man. So you can't complain that you have a man who is weak. If you have a man that's weak, it's probably because you're overbearing. Just saying. So what can we do? What can we do? So I'm not going to say inherently, black men just like benefiting from strong women. But I mean, opposites attract. And if you're going to have a woman who wants to do everything, why are you going to keep butting heads with this woman? Two bulls can't reign in one pen. So if one person's going to be the bull, the other one's got to be the cow. So if the woman is insistent on being the dominant one, men are easygoing. They're not going to fight you to be in the lead. They're either going to fight and then you're going to submit, or he's just going to leave that situation physically or mentally. He might mentally leave. So physically he's there, but he's not trying to lead. He's just going to let you do what you want to do. And then when he's had enough, he'll just bounce. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm not going to say that the black man is benefiting from the current situation per se, not because well, I'm going to say that he does, but he doesn't do it because he's just that type of individual. Like, he's inherently just a bomb-ass Negro, and all he does is live off the poor black woman who has to carry the community on her back. No, the black woman wants to carry the community on her back. She's choosing to take that position, and then she goes looking for weak men who want to be in the position of a boy, which is why I'm saying partly hypergamy separates the men from the boys. She's picking men who live like boys, so that she can scold him and school him and criticize him and boss him. And she knows he's in a compromised position. So she can say whatever she likes. She can handle him however she wants, because at the end of the day, he hasn't got anywhere to go. A man who's got money and his stuff together, he's not even going to deal with that. He's not. He's just going to just use that female and chuck her one side, because he's not even short. He's like this, because I was thinking about this a little bit today, not about this live stream, but just in general. Like, a man who's got his life together, vagina is literally the least important thing on his mind. To a man who's got nothing going on in his life, vagina is such a significant thing. It's like the epitome of every goal out there. Like he has to walk around bragging to his boys, yeah, I got some, and rah, 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 because like literally that's the only accomplishment he has in his life. But for a man who's got things going on in his life, getting vagina and getting access to women is like, it's not even something he has to think about. He enters a room and women just look. When he enters a room, women are like, wow, he looks like he's going places. He's put together. He's sharp. He smells good. Hair's done. He's got a nice car. He looks like he works. He's got he's got a presence. He doesn't have to do much to attract females. So vagina is not the biggest accomplishment for him. Going back to TFM and the doll, I'm not saying TFM is a loser because I really respect his mind, actually. Can't see his face, but okay, whatever. Can't see his face, but I respect his mind. He puts forth very good arguments, but he could be sloppy, smelly, and ugly, and that doll can't leave. You don't have to be at the peak of your game to be a person with a doll. And this is what we mean by hypergamy. Hypergamy is the woman looking around and saying, I want a man who is equal or better than me. And a man who doesn't want to compete is going to complain about hypergamy. He's going to complain about the fact that there are men who, if they enter the room, his woman's going to be looking. She might not leave, but she might look. But hypergamy's got to exist. It's got to exist. Because at the end of the day, I understand we civilize the world. We civilize the world. But at the end of the day, let a tsunami hit, let a tornado hit, let some World War III hit, and we're going to see who is who. Because the women don't want no soft man that's going to be hiding in the cupboard or under the bed when they hear the knock on the door in the middle of the night. All this participation trophy and man wearing handbag and painting their nails, that is going to go out of the window. Nobody don't want no man in a damn dress when there's a frigging crew of marauding robbers at the damn door. We need the man that's going to go in the drawer and pull out the thing. I can't say it on the internet. That's what we need. So hypergamy is going to separate the wheat from the chaff. People out here complaining about hypergamy. I don't know why. I don't know why. Because we there's a saying, no, luck favors the brave. I'm thinking of a commercial, actually. But at the end of the day, it's survival of the fittest. I think that's the saying I was thinking of. Survival of the fittest out here. Hypergamy is going to separate the fittest. And I get you got to get in where you fit in. You got to get in where you fit in. The idea that black women are so infinitely strong and resilient stems from anti-black misogyny. It dates back to the plantation days. Yeah, and it's something that was cultured in the black community by white people because white people stopped black men, I should say, let me get it correct. They stopped black men from assuming certain positions in society. So the only people who could really excel were black women. Like Spelman, there are pictures, because Spelman wasn't always called Spelman College. It was called something else, I believe. I saw a video, so you guys will have to check out how true this is. And it's like white slave owners would take the black female slaves away on holidays and things like that. You know, the black man's not getting that. And then like they invested loads of money into Spelman, which was historically a black college for, for women and things like that, or whatever. It was predominantly full of black women. So obviously, these black women are getting handouts from Zaddy. They might be second class citizens or slaves and things like that, but they're getting an education, they're getting some type of prominence in society, they're able to get jobs as a result of their education, etc., etc., etc. So this culture, like this backwards dynamic between the black man and the black woman, is something that was cultivated by white people to keep the black community in a state of disarray. Every other woman has a place. I'm not saying that she should be just, barefoot and chained to the stove, but other groups of women are able to rest more in their feminine role. And although we've got like feminism now that's making even these other groups of women really confused, but it's still more common for them to be talking about how much they love being a wife and being a homemaker and loving their children and their husband and getting married, and that's what they look forward to, etc., etc. And it's like the black woman, even from a young age, is talking about how much she just wants to do it by herself, and she doesn't believe she's got anybody she can rely on, and da 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 da. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I don't know. I don't know what that's gonna. Well, we know what it's gonna do for the black community, because we see how it's destroyed the ability for people to even pair up. George said, I'd rather be with a human woman. Most people would, but I understand people who want dolls. I understand why people would choose that um I understand why people would choose that lifestyle, but it's no risk. It's no risk. Relationships require risk, and they require work. There's a degree of work maintaining the doll, because you've got to keep it hygienically clean. I actually did watch a video of TFM cleaning his doll, which was a bit traumatizing when you think what's on the doll. But other than that, I mean, you just bung her in a cupboard until you're ready to take her out again. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to a human being that has the capacity to walk away and has needs and expectations, then I understand why somebody who fears dominating in their own life and who doesn't want to consistently put in the work to manage their relationships is just going to check out and say, I'd rather deal with a doll, you know. Dimitri says grown men playing make believe. Shout out to Bronzebird in the building. He says, hey, what's good, man? What's good, everybody? Shout out to NC Worker in the building. I think this is one of the first times I've seen this brother over here. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming through. So that's what I wanted to say at the end of the day. Hypergamy separates the men from the boys. The women being the way that they are, looking for a man who they see as their superior. This is not a bad thing. Everybody has to get in where they fit in. If you are a man who is passive and you are gentle, I know a guy like this, and some of the things I post, he inspired it, because the way he is, I mean, there is dishwater out here that's stronger than him. And I'm just like, you are going to get taken. Well, you have been taken for a mug because you move like a goofy. But there's a woman out there for him if he just could find her. And she has to be soft and docile like him, but he still has to be firmer than her. It's not about it being something you're not. It's about being as a man being superior to your woman, so she can look up to you mentally, physically, or whatever. If you can be strong, if you can be firm, if you can be dominant, then that's going to work in your favor, because at the end of the day, people will do whatever they feel they can get away with. And so not everybody has a good, kind heart and they're going to do right by you because it's right to do. No, when they see an opportunity to take advantage, they might take advantage. So you want to toughen up. You want to develop yourself. You want to invest in yourself, love yourself, respect yourself. The beginning of self-care is self-respect, because people don't are not going to treat you better than you treat yourself. Why? What does it benefit a person to treat you better than you treat you? We train people how to treat us. So if we disrespect our self-respect, then people will say, well, this is what this guy likes. This is what this guy will allow me to do. You don't have to be running around here talking, but you carry yourself in a way where your yes is your yes and your no is your no. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you don't like something or you don't agree with something, don't just, be wishy-washy about it. Be straight. I remember this guy I knew, he said to this girl, his girl at the time, he said to her, I think you're a bit naughty, so you can just go and do what you want to do, and then I'll be sitting here waiting. And I was like, well, you tried to double bluff her, and then she called your bluff, and you're upset, but you carried yourself in a way that spoke to disrespect. I'm not saying that you being disrespected was right, but at the end of the day, you told her to go and disrespect you. So why are you upset that she then disrespected you? Like, you are the one that planted the seed in that person's head that you would tolerate the disrespect, and they put that statement to the test. So you can't treat yourself disrespectfully, then be shocked when other people disrespect you. And then they're showing you something else, like, that's madness. So when I look back on some of the brothers that I know out here, they're not all brothers actually. Some are white, some are this, some are that. Just passive men. You're gonna get chewed up because you can only be fake and walk around with a facade for so long. But at the same time, you can't walk around like this is the land of fairies and unicorns either. Even if you're gentle as a person, you still have to be savvy. You still have to use your common sense. You still have to carry yourself with enough pride that when something is not right, you say, hey, this is a line too far. You see, if you cross this line, this is going to be the consequence. Have the courage and the balls to say, I'm not afraid to lose this person. I would rather go without, because I care about myself enough to not tolerate being disrespected. Because if you're in a situation with somebody who doesn't respect you, it's going to end sooner or later, one way or another. You're going to kill them. They're going to kill you. You're going to kill yourself. Or you're going to run off. They're going to run off. It's going to end. It can't last. Because when a person doesn't respect somebody else, eventually the disrespect is going to escalate over time to the point where it's going to become intolerable. So it's going to end sooner or later. So once you see that there's no respect, have enough respect for yourself to say, I don't think this relationship is going to work. It's been nice. Thank you so much. But I think we best go our separate ways. You will feel good in yourself knowing that you didn't stay in a situation that actually was detrimental to your physical and mental health. And it can be detrimental to your physical health, because when a person doesn't respect you, before you know it, they can start hitting you. They can start thinking about harming you. You don't know what that person will do because they don't respect you. So, or you can start doing stuff to self-medicate to cope with the situation. Drinking a lot, smoking a lot, not sleeping. That's going to also impact your physical health. So what's the point to stay in a situation where a person doesn't respect you? What do you get out of that? Relationship is about value. You have to bring value to the person, and the person has to bring value to you. A person who doesn't respect you, what value are they really bringing you to tolerate? To be honest, I don't see women as helpless. This is an age of stay at work, home work. She'll be right. The Atlanta Black Feminist Female Seminary. What's that? Maybe I missed something. I missed something there. Yeah, Dimitri's laughing. I wonder if that's what I said about them killing each other. Because I know if I don't respect somebody, I might kill somebody. So I have to keep it 1,000. If it wasn't for Jesus and the course, but I'm too nice to be a butch lesbian bitch in prison. Yeah, that's not my cup of tea at all. So I don't really stand for a long time with somebody I could you to introduce you. Man, I wait, but he found somebody who could and say my dog. And that's how a lot of women feel. Having the lapdog man is nice at first. He buys you everything, calling you every 5 minutes. You get the good morning and the good night text. And then it gets too much. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Oh, whatever you want to do, I want to do. God damn, do you have a thought in that head of yours? Do you have a plan? We want to be able to get on board with your plan. We want a man that's got direction. And if he doesn't have direction, we will give you things to do. And then after a while, we will just start disrespecting you. Or maybe that's just me. No, it's not just me. It's women in general. It's women in general. Even if your plan is every Friday I go out drinking with the boys and we play PlayStation, like on Friday, can we go out? No. You know, Friday fishing, you know, Thursday I have a Scrabble club or whatever it is you like to do. Wednesday night, you know, it's games night. Oh, Sunday, I'm going to watch the game with the boys. You have to have a life and a thing where you tell your woman no, because we're going to test you. I told somebody I might pivot this channel, boy, because there's too many men that need a kick in the ass, man. There's too many men out here that need a solid drill sergeant kick. I am the woman to do that, because I am not. I'm tired of the weak, passive men. I'm tired of men with multicolored hair, handbags, flip-flop, house shoes, nail polish. I'm tired of the whole thing. If World War III kicks off, we're screwed. We are screwed in the West. We've got so many freaking guns and so much weaponry, and we haven't got a figure who can use it because everybody's too busy. Grown men walking around in high heels and handbags. It's a lot. It's too much for me. And then we've got the women thinking that they can go to war, and then they can't probably lift the gun because it's too heavy. It's like, Oh my gosh, I need to go to a different country where there's men that are still men. I've got to get out of this country quick. He said it's boring. It's boring. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in a place with bad reception. Shout out to Haroon. I'm not paying attention, so I see all kind of people coming through. Shout out to Celine in the building. Yeah, we've got to bring things back, man. I've got to pivot this channel and do some content for the men and just give them a solid kick up the backside so that they can get themselves back on track. And it's got to start with the mind. Competition is good. Hypergamy is good. If the women are picking you, great. If they're not, well, you need to do something to be picked by the women that you like, because everybody's getting picked by somebody. It's just not by the person they necessarily want to get picked by. Hypergamy is not a bad thing. It separates the men from the boys. Let me check these comments quickly. I was thinking about you, Haroon. How's it going? I know I said I would come back. I must have gone to an area where the reception was bad because people are saying it's bogging. I hope it's come back now. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is what it is. Competition is going to help men feel good within themselves. The way women feel good when we go shopping, I know that's very stereotypical, or when we see babies, or we tidy the house and things like that, or see handbags, we are more prone as women to nest. So when we see things that pertain to homemaking and family, we typically naturally feel good. When men are out here competing and thriving and conquering, it doesn't have to be killing lions and dragons and things like that, but succeeding at work, setting a goal for yourself and accomplishing it, doing things where you build up your own, I don't want to use the word repertoire, but you have interests, hobbies, you have skills that you're developing, and you're doing stuff to invest in yourself. This is going to be good for your mental health. And as you increase your personal value, then you don't have to settle for disrespect. You don't have to settle for second class treatment, because you know your worth and you're constantly investing in yourself so that you have more worth. It's not about how much money you have. Your worth is not tied to how much money you have. It's tied to how much you value something and then you go and get it. If you value going fishing every weekend and that's what you do, you have a rich life because you're pursuing what you believe in, and then you're making that dream or that desire a reality. There are lots of people who are not doing anything with their time. They're not doing anything with their skill and their potential. And so their life is quite empty despite how much they have at their fingertips. And then there are some people who don't have anywhere near as much financial resource, but their life is full because of the things that they do that gives them a boost and gives them value in their own life and in their own eyes. Nobody can take that from them because they are investing in themselves. So hypergamy is important. Accomplishing something is a natural high. It is. And the more you accomplish, the more confidence you're going to have, because confidence is belief in oneself or one's ability to do things. So if you have a string of accomplishments behind you, then you're going to say, I've accomplished this in the past, so I believe I have the capacity to accomplish XYZ in the future. If you've done certain things and you said, I didn't know how to do that, but I managed it somehow. You know what? maybe if I try this, I'll be able to succeed at that as well. But people who have low self-confidence, they probably don't have a lot of accomplishments in their past. They're not trying things. They're not doing things. It could be a negative inner voice as well. It could come from low self-esteem, which could be something from maybe childhood that has grown with them. But the more you do things, the more you're going to become comfortable with trying new things and striving. You're not always going to succeed. That's fine. But trying, going for going for different things, trying different things, experimenting. There is so much in life to experience, places to go, people to meet, food to try, fashion to try, the interests and hobbies. There are so many things in this world. It's crazy. So to just be confined, it's like, why would you do that when there are so many opportunities at our fingertips now? That dopamine rush is unmatched, especially if you're trying something many times. Like if you try to pass your driving test or something like that, you keep going back and then you finally pass. It's like you're on cloud nine. There are so many things. There are so many things out here to try. Competing with yourself is a good thing, and competing with other men is not a bad thing either. At the end of the day, I'm not going to support Pearl, who is saying take women's rights away, because at the end of the day, when people have no rights, they are vulnerable to being abused. So we cannot support that. I cannot support that. We need laws to be fair. We need laws to be fair so that everybody is protected. But if people are with a fair mindset, it doesn't matter what the laws say, because people are not going to be abusing one another regardless of what the law says. The problem is not just the law, the problem is the mentalities out here. Haroon says, yeah, I can't do the 9 to 5 system. There's a world to explore. And you might have to do the 9 to 5 system, at least for a period of time to get the money up. And then afterwards, see how it goes if you want to self-employ or whatever, or once you save enough money, you're able to do the things you want to do and plan. And something might work out, it might not work out. You want to take calculated risks. But there's so much, especially for somebody like Haroon, but for anybody who is so young. You have your whole life ahead of you, so don't make silly mistakes, because it only takes one bad decision. It doesn't even take multiple bad decisions. It just could take one bad decision to wreck your whole life. I told you guys I could have been DMX out here, because when I was 16, I remember I was coming home. I don't know where I was coming from a friend's house, and I was going to the house where I was staying, and I met this guy who was sitting in a car, and we started chatting, and he offered me to sit in the car, which was the first stupid mistake, because he could have just locked me in and driven off with me, to be honest with you. Maybe the door was open, I don't remember. But he started smoking weed, so he offered me a blunt. And me being the good person that I was, I said, my friends are always giving me weed, so let me take this home and we'll share it. So when I got home, somebody asked me, where did you get this from? Because they knew I had no money. And I wasn't really, although I would smoke, I wasn't the kind of person who had like a dealer and a weed man and things like that. So they were suspicious where I got this weed from. And one of them said, let's crack it open. No pun intended. And when they split the zoot, there was frigging crack crystals in it. And I didn't know anything about mixing crack with weed. I didn't even see when the man put it in, and he built the stupid thing in front of me. And This is why do I say this story of good decision making and wise judgment in air quotes? Because that one decision to share that zoo changed my life. It saved my life. Because if I had smoked that, not knowing that it was full of crack, like being selfish, I could have dropped down on the street. That man didn't even try it on with me. He was just friendly. And probably because he's been smoking weed mixed with crack for so long, it doesn't even affect him. He does it, so he thinks everybody does it. But I didn't even smoke a whole zoot back then. I will take 2-3 puffs and I'm done. So can you imagine if I smoke a zoot with crack inside, what's going to happen to me? Next thing, I collapse in the car. He doesn't know what to do, and he pushes me out on the street and drives off because he's frightened he's going to get caught. Or I could stumble home thinking I'm fine, the crack kicks in, and then I start going funny and somebody else attacks me on the road. That one decision to take that zoot home, to crack it our lives. So it only takes one decision, one mistake, and your whole life could be ruined. You sleep with the wrong person and they got HIV. You sleep with the wrong person, they have your baby. You end up following a friend somewhere and it all kicks off. That, you know, you go somewhere and a person says, oh, let's just do this one scam. It's just the once. And then you get nabbed, now you got a criminal conviction. I remember one time I went to collect this lady's stuff. And when we went to the house to pick the stuff up, we tried to kick the door in. I shouldn't even admit this on the damn internet. At the time, imagine I get up in is the problem. What's that? Breaking and entering? Burglar's a troublemaker. The person getting kicked out rightfully was getting kicked out. And I'm defending the person without knowing the whole story. It only takes one decision, one bad decision, to change the entire trajectory of your life. So when you have your whole life ahead of you, you've got to use your brain. My battery is about to go. Shout out to Boris the Spider. I haven't seen you for a long time. Hypergamy is important, it's crucial, it separates the wheat from the chaff and the weak from the strong. And I know some people may not like that, but it is what it is. So I really appreciate everybody who came through. My battery's on 5%. It's about to go. So I'm just going to end it here. I really appreciate everybody. Shout out to all the mods. Shout out to everyone who's come through. If you've lasted this long on the restream, pat your own back. You've done a great job. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.